Hi, welcome to another video, and today we're going to look at the multi-directional lunge, and I'm going to show you several different versions of this same lunge. So I'm going to give you just the basic one to start with if you're not familiar with what that is. So on this basic one, this angle lunge, by the way, is one of the ones that most people struggle with. So really got to keep that foot pointing forward. Right, so I don't want my front foot pointing out this way with the angle that I'm heading towards. I definitely want my hip on the trailing leg to point at that, so you can see how that turns in and will point at the back heel on the front leg. So front foot's facing that way, my torso's facing this way as well, but the trailing leg does an internal rotation to in the direction I'm stepping towards. This is the lateral lunge, which we've been over a few times in recent videos. Now I have a backward angle lunge, then I have a directly backward lunge. It's probably the easiest of the lot is the backward lunge, because it's easier to control the torso staying upright. So then I'd work on the other side. So roughly like I work in, so there's 10 points that you want to work around. And you know, the lateral lunge is a really good one for all this agility work that we work on, just because of the foot plant. And again, you can see here my foot staying quite straight. All right, and then I get to the last one, which is the backward and the forward one's quite simple. All right, so once we've done that one, then we can move into a different version. This one we create a bit of rotation, so it definitely throws a few people off on this one. It actually feels quite like nice in a way on the trailing leg. There's a bit of an ITB stretch, and just a nice sort of a flowing movement. Now you'll notice I rotate to a different side when I go backward here. So you rotate to whichever leg is in front. So the first ones, it's obviously the leg that I'm stepping with, but on these backward ones, it's the front leg. That's the side I rotate to, all right? And you're just basically working around in the same thing that I did the first time. Obviously, the coordination will sort of mess around with a few people's heads, so that's okay. You just work with it very slowed and controlled. So it helps you with all this chopping and changing and preventing shoulder sway that we see in the much more violent and fast-moving things. Very sport-specific, but it's very controlled. So it's not like it at high explosive speeds. Just setting the groundwork for what's to come with the more difficult ones to obtain. All right. So then once I've done that one, then I can move into a different version. And this one, it's the start of it is exactly the same. It's just when I get to the backward one that things change a fair bit. All right. So these first few, nothing different here. So again, just working through my nice range. It's this one where I'm actually going to I'm using like a backward, like almost like that lateral lunge, but on a 45 degree. All right. So again, slightly different version of the multi-direction lunge. Not as many like angles, I suppose you could say, but a different sort of a feel. Yeah, and you can really sort of get the idea of so I'm a bit better on that side than the left side. Left side a lot more restricted. Now this last one is when we can integrate the upper body into it. So we can bring into play, especially for the hip actions, like trying to incorporate the deadlift as such. So this is where I can lower into lunge and then add a bent over row into it. So I need to combine everything that I had before now with this excessive like holding pattern of the lunge, and it's really hard to step back from it. Then bringing into play the bent over row in all these different angles. So obviously I'm going to get an upper body workout as well as this, but the holding down low really hurts the legs in a big way just because of the time under tension. Just creates a different sort of a feel. Lot harder workout all over. So if your skills are pretty good on the general one and you've moved through those more difficult ones, this is a great way to build some strength into your movement, which will help you when you want to move into the more dynamic and fast versions in those multi-directional agility drills that we've shown previously. So a great way to just use this multi-direction lunge and, you know, various skill sets that you might need. And, you know, it feels really actually quite like a series of hip stretches when you're doing it. All right, so I hope you've enjoyed that video of a quick look at the multi-lunge and you use it in your training a lot because it's an awesome tool. All right, we'll see you on our next video.